Welcome back to Dad Schooled, where we're real dads figuring out as we go. Each week, we bring you some encouragement, some laughs, and a reminder that you're not alone in this crazy, awesome, weird world we live in. I'm Josh, and this is Jimmy.
Howdy, good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Yeah, today we're gonna dive into something that every dad has faced. We've all been there. We've all had to deal with how do we support our wives. We don't even feel like we understand what's going on in the moment. It could be just they're having an emotional moment. Maybe they're having a hard day or a struggle with a coworker, and they come home and they're wanting to unpack that with you. We're going to talk about how you can show up in that moment, even if you probably oftentimes, if you're like me and I think even Josh, a lot of times you're going to feel like you're out of your depth and you don't know exactly what you're doing, or as you're trying to go into it with your wife and you feel like you're just making it worse. We've all been there. So we're going to dig into that, how to be there and be supportive when your wife is needing you.
Did you say like Josh?
No, like all of us.
Oh, okay. I thought you said like Josh, who listed all these problems. I was
Probably
like, wait
did.
a minute.
We're going to talk about Josh and his problems this week.
Yes, this is actually an emotional support group for Josh today.
I've gathered everyone here today so we can have an intervention.
So before we get started, let's go over anything new with us right now in our lives, Jimmy. So our vast amount of viewers can feel closer to us in a personal level. I recently went through the very fun and exciting traumatic event of building steps in my backyard. I got rid of some old wood steps.
How?
Traumatic in the sense that I didn't know what I was doing, and I had a great friend come over and help me with that. So I actually learned a lot from this guy. Really, really good friend. Didn't expect anybody to step up, pun intended, and help me build some steps. But it was great. We had a good time. Did it in one day. I thought it would take a whole weekend, but we knocked the steps out. And yeah, so that's what's going on with me. I'm getting ready for a work trip. I don't think we're gonna have an episode next week, unfortunately. And if you're catching up on podcasts and you don't go week by week and sit on the edge of your seats waiting for us, then this means absolutely nothing for you. But it's traumatic for Jimmy and myself, who this is our only excitement every single week. So what's new with you, Jimmy?
What's new with you? Oh goodness! Well, I got to have a fun moment with the middle school co-op class. I have a bunch of 7th graders. We're going through anatomy right now, and in a few weeks we're going to be doing some dissections, and so I have to order all of those to come in, and I'm going to get a box of body parts, animal body parts,
like a sheep eye, like a frog, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Well, so then the fun thing is I have it on my computer. I'm looking up and I'm trying to like figure out what I'm going to put in my shopping cart because they've got all sorts of weird and wild things that you can order. And my girls walk by and they're like, "What are you looking at?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's a pig's brain and there's a sheep's heart and there's a cow eye." And they were very intrigued, and they're like, "What's on the next page? What else is on there?" And
you feel like you're doing like a witch potion, like Eye of Newt.
That's what it felt like. I was like, "This is the weirdest shopping page," and I think this is science page. I hope, yeah, this is okay. Yeah, this is science stuff. But yeah, so I've got that coming in a couple weeks. I know a couple of my students are, I think, a little more apprehensive and stressed out about the idea, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. We'll throw on the rubber gloves and dig in.
Excellent. Yeah. We have not experienced that yet, but I hope to have fun, just as much fun doing that. I'm kind of curious if my wife's if she's gonna make me do that, or if she's gonna do that, or if we're gonna go somebody else for that. I'm kind of curious. I can see her doing it.
Should be a family bonding,
a family experience. Yeah. I wonder if you can get things like, I guess depends on what you do, like a sheep's brain or like a pig's brain. But I wonder if you can do something you can eat.
I was gonna say, usually my extensive knowledge and ability in dissection is a turkey at Thanksgiving. I think I've done
Yeah.
that 2 or 3 times in my life, and that's about as much dissection as I've ever done.
Have you ever seen that video online of the dad that put little small rotisserie chickens inside of a turkey?
No.
So when he was having his daughter cut open the turkey, it had little chickens inside, and he was like, "Oh, it was a mom." It was great.
Sounds like a good dad joke. Something
Mhm.
that one of us would come up with.
Ah, no, that'd be cruel and unusual.
Just right up
All
our
right,
alley.
yes, let's get started. Our main idea today will be, how do you support your wife when you don't really know what the problem is? Okay, I feel like I'm an expert at this. I really do, and I'm sure my wife just rolled her eyes or something. I can feel that in the
Wait,
force around me right now.
expert in getting it right or expert in getting it wrong?
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like I have a lot of experience in being completely clueless about what's going on around me, and not like I'm a derpy, clueless person, but more like I walk into a situation and you have that sense, like you understand something's wrong, right? You understand that something's going on. Your wife is stressing out about something, or something is the matter, but you have no idea what it is. So it's like a fun game almost of a clue or guess who, and you're trying to like ask different things in different ways to try to figure out if you can unravel the mystery of what is going on in your house. And so as fun as it is to to poke fun at the stereotype of a wife being stressed out all the time, or the dad always being a clueless person bouncing around, I feel like we can probably give our listeners some good tips and tricks on how to navigate this very common, I feel, situation that a guy, a dad, a father would find himself in his house. So I think the im- the importance behind why we need to um, navigate this carefully is because um, loving your partner should happen no matter what's going on. Like, through thick and thin, through good and bad, you should be there for each other. And that means that you need to be able to support your spouse if they're going through a hard time. And it's we as dads, we, or as guys, we commonly have the notion attached to us, and I think it's built into our DNA to fix something. I know there's guys out there who don't find themselves handy. They couldn't hang a picture to save their lives, but at some level, you see a problem and you want to try to solve it or help solve it, and I think that's like built into our DNA, and we need to understand that we can't always default to that. We have to um, turn on our listening ears, which isn't always easy for all of us.
Been there, absolutely. It's about when something's going on that whether it's clearly brought to our attention, like, hey, can you help me with something real quick, or oftentimes you can just tell something's off, and your wife's needing, I think, a hand, or just needing to process or deal with something that could be going on inside the home, or oftentimes it's stresses outside of the home, like I say, in workplace, or it could be other family stress, like other like in-laws or something like that. Like, there could be those other stresses. And I think that default that we go into as men so many times is to want to solve the problem. Like, we want to be Mr. Fix It. Our brains go to, okay, here's the ingredients over here that are going in and causing the problem. So let's mix them around and try to create a solution. But oftentimes it's not what our wife is actually asking us for or looking for. They're wanting to just hear, um, that we are present with them in the moment and that we're not going to leave their side. I think a lot of times that's just the way the situation is built up. They want to know that they're not alone, and coming in and trying to solve the solution ends up coming across as, okay, I got this. I'm gonna go. It's like, I'll go to my workshop and tinker with it, and then I'll bring you the answer, and everything's gonna be okay. But that means that we're not walking side by side with our spouse and meeting their need in that exact moment. So learning to be present, I think, is what we're needing to figure out.
Absolutely. And if you aren't present, and if you are just kind of in your own little world, and you're not picking up on key signs that you should be listening, it could feel like you're just missing. It's a very common. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, we just can't get on the same page. We can't. We're in different fields. We're not playing the same game. Whatever analogy you want to use, you just feel like you can't connect with your spouse, and it's always, missing that link that you need to pick up on. Hey, I need you to be there for me, being present. I don't need you to come in, hear my problem, and immediately try to give me a solution and walk off, because that is, as much as you think you walk in as a dad, you're like, oh, wife's upset, stressing out about this or that. Have you tried not stressing out? Okay, I did my job, and we walk off. You're like, yeah, I told her not to stress out, and that solved all the problems for me. I deserve probably an award for the quickest solution to the very simple problem she had. And yeah, so then
I don't
you
know about
saunter
you.
off.
If I were to just say, "Hey, just have you tried not stressing out?"
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't be sleeping in our bedroom at night.
yeah, yeah. And have you tried not doing that?
Yeah, I don't think that would go well.
Like I can think of a couple. Like, I can't give an exact example, and to be honest, I'm a bit scared too, because of people who listen to this podcast. Um, I don't want to come across as a know-it-all, as a person who has the superior answers to all problems. I absolutely do not want my wife to come across as someone who's always stressed out, always has problems, and I'm trying to solve them. That's not the case. But I will say there has been times, especially because we homeschool, and I'm down here in my office. My wife is upstairs, and she is orchestrating, and working with our kids and homeschool, and also running several in-home businesses and blogs that she runs. She has her own YouTube channel. She creates content. She's very busy. Um, and often she's balancing and juggling those schedules and those timelines of getting content out, recording content, getting 4 kids and 2 dogs upstairs to be quiet while she records is not always easy. And then right in the middle, and everyone's quiet and everyone's calm for a second, the Roomba that I might have programmed turns on in the background, which is trying. Lots of things like that happen. It's like, you know, so there are stressful moments in our lives, and sometimes things pile up, and I come upstairs for a little refill of coffee, and just the act of walking past my wife in the kitchen, she has all these things on her mind. She sees me. I'm her partner. I'm the apple of her eye, the love of her life. I'm her world. And she's like, I can tell this guy anything, which I love that. And she does. And she'll start going on and on about something that's bothering her. And it's like the first couple seconds of me seeing her for the day. And sometimes there'll be something on her mind she just has to get off. And that's okay. But as a guy, as a dad, I got to be careful. As a husband, I got to be really careful, because it's easy for me to just go, I got a meeting, and rush past her. It's easy for me to listen to her problem of, we need to make this is a recent one and an ongoing one. She'll be sitting there in the kitchen and look, and she'll see the counters are dirty. There are crumbs on the counter because we have kids, and they like to leave crap everywhere. It's just their nature. Like, they look at a nice house and they see, how can I mess this up? That's what they work on right now. So my wife's sitting there trying to do her job, trying to work, and get a thought down into something on her laptop, and she looks over and she sees crumbs on the counter, and she makes a comment to me, "Hey, I'm really stressed out that there's crumbs on the counter." So and this is like Mr. Fix It mode, walk over there with a wet paper towel, wipe the crumbs up, and I'll walk away. I'm like, yes, I just solved my
Problem
wife's
solved.
problem. Problem solved. But what I didn't know is in her mind, crumbs on the counter means you need to take off every single appliance from the counter, and you need to use some method of cleaning that eludes me because I can't do that off the bat. I don't know what it is. I'm incapable of doing that, and that's what she needed. But I'm just like quick fix, and then I walk away. And in her mind, I'm not going to speak for her, but I think she's like, he didn't do it right, you know. And it's just a different perception of how you clean something. Another example would be, a very simple, we don't have groceries, for something. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. And I'm like, oh, let's just go to Chick-fil-A. Oh, why don't we just have frozen pizza? Quick thing. She has in her mind something more that I'm not considering. She's thinking of, what if we have leftovers? What if our family's not eating healthy enough? Very true, possibly. All these other factors. Oh, well, what if we don't have the money for it? All these things that I don't consider, and I'm just gonna flippantly walk past and try to solve the problem quickly. So I need to be careful that I um, don't do that. Don't go into fix it mode. So
I think there's a reason why there's books that exist, like what's the Women Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars.
yeah.
There's a Christian one that was out, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago or something. Love and Respect. That the kind of the key point that they're making in that book is women's primary need is to be shown love, and men's primary need is to be shown respect. The point being that men and women are wired differently. The way we approach things, the way that we then communicate about things, and even just the weight that we put on different things that we are experiencing or things that we're encountering. We come at it from a different place, and so we experience it differently. We communicate it differently. So you got to start with that realization. Okay, we're going to be looking at and observing and interacting with life events in a different way with different tools,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't always line up. And so being mindful of that is going to help you be able to step into a given scenario with a little more grace and come out with a little more dignity, hopefully. Like my thing is I have a tendency to accidentally step onto a soapbox of whatever is going on. It could be a simple question of like, thinking ahead. She might go, hey, what time do the Chiefs play on Sunday? And she's really just trying to figure out just lunch plans and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, they got the 3 o'clock kickoff. And and that matters because the Chargers and the Raiders have the noon game, and depending on who wins, then for playoff implications. And I just start going spouting off, just going into all these crazy wild scenarios. She's like, yeah, I just wanted to figure out lunch plans and what we were going on, and so just starting out on different pages, like I've been there, or she might just be needing help. She needs to upload a file for work or get something printed off and the printer's not working correctly. And so then I go into Mr. IT mode and, well, if you just click on the thing and you drag this thing over here, she's like, can you just be here for me right now? And sometimes it's just a simple thing like that. But it starts with making sure we're on the right page. So how do we do that? How do we get to make sure we're on the right page with each other?
Hmm. Well, I guess there's something, if we as husbands, we can step back and we can have something to slow us down and be like, confirming with your spouse, do you want me to help you solve this problem actively, or do you want me just to listen to you tell me the problem and get it off your chest? That's something big. Sometimes people just want to be heard. Sometimes you just want to say things out loud. um and sometimes you want someone to solve your problem, because I'm on fire you know, to a guy could mean that you're literally on fire and you need to be put out, or it could just mean you're hot and you're telling me you're hot. But even then, a guy could be like, should I turn the AC up or down? Should I get you a glass of ice water? Or you're just telling me I'm hot. Lots of different things you can take from that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's one of the great things. I think one of my benefits of getting to be married to a great couples therapist. It's what she does, and she's really, really good at it. But she comes up. She was sharing this statistic. I have a hard time with that word. Statistic. She was sharing with me recently that couples, and she finds this to be absolutely the truth whenever she digs into the life and the daily comings and goings of different couples that are just struggling to figure things out. That someone did this amazing study. I don't know how they came up with these numbers, but they seem to be true. In relationships, the problems that couples try to spend their time working on, only 36% of the problems that they try to work on actually even have a solution. But in the time that they spend together in marriage, 75% of their time is in problem solving mode. So they end up spending this majority of their time trying to be in problem solving mode when only a minority of their problems actually even have a solution. So figuring out what is actually a priority, what's actually important, and is what you're experiencing as a problem or I'm experiencing as a problem, is it something that we accidentally created because we're not on the same page? Because you have a different need and I'm trying to come at it as Mr. Fix It, as Mr. Tim the Toolman Taylor. I'm going to come in grunting along the way and show you how it's done. But that's not what you actually needed in the moment. And so we end up creating even more problems that we spend more time in problem solving mode. And then now there's even fewer of them that actually have a solution because we just ended up creating more inadvertently. And trying to simmer that down a little bit, simplify things, and get on the same page. That's going to help us step forward, I think, and have hopefully a little bit more success.
So I got to address this. I got to ask this question for you. Being married to a couples counselor or couples therapist, okay? Do you ever worry? Like, okay, first of all, that terrifies me as a husband hearing that, okay? Do you ever worry that she uses these stats out there to get what she wants from you? Like she's like, honey, can you give me a glass of water? And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, 17.3% of guys who don't get glasses of water fail at marriage. Does she ever do that to you?
Yeah,
Like just
thankfully
pull
that's
random
not
stuff?
been my experience. Yeah, no, we've been good on that front. She doesn't
That's good.
weaponize her vast, amazing skill and knowledge.
She's like
With great,
73.6% of guys who don't do this aren't
yeah,
successful in life. And you're like, oh, I better do that.
yeah, no. She understands with great power comes great responsibility. She does a
That's
good
good.
job with that.
That's good.
Yeah,
I could not be a therapist because I would abuse that. I really would. It would not be pretty, and I'd be bad at abusing it too. But I'd still abuse it. So what can we do? I guess being I don't know, getting touchy feely here. Little warning for dudes out there who are too guyish for these type of things. You need to hear this because it's hard, and you probably struggle the most with these things. If you're thinking this, you need to be near to your spouse. You need to be present. Um, be quiet. Shut your mouth. You know, don't think you have the answer unless she looks at you with these eyes like, you gonna say something? you know and that could be a threatening look as well, so be careful with that one. But you need to be there. You need to uh, be gentle, be kind. It's going to be hard for some people, but you go outside of your comfort zone and just be there emotionally for them. Here is something that's crazy and you might not think about. Maybe follow up later. This is like if you want to go to the next level and be that dude or that guy, that husband that she brags about to her friends about how awesome you are emotionally, check in with her later. Follow up. If she has a problem and if you listened and you did what you should do and you didn't blow it by trying to solve it and walk out of the room, follow up with her. Send her a text, send her a little note, an email, a call, FaceTime her, whatever you guys as a couple do to just say, hey, how's this? I just want to make sure you're doing okay. It's silly and maybe it feels like a waste of time from you. You're sitting on the construction site as a big buff dad going, are you okay, honey? We had that problem before. It goes a long way with her. It doesn't matter about your comfort and emotional state. It's her. You're trying to support her in this moment. Um, so yeah, what do we
And I
cover?
think, yeah,
Sorry,
that
go ahead.
that key word that I feel like we've missed, we've maybe danced around a little bit, but it's empathy is specifically what
Hmm.
I think our wives, the way that they've been wired by, God the creator, that we are differently. Um, and men, we want to fix, but what women oftentimes are needing in that moment in their life is empathy. So,
Hmm.
what does empathy look like, and what does that mean? Is they want to know that they're not alone, and they want to know that we are with them in that moment. So, coming alongside them and just being able to empathize, being, yeah, that sounds really hard. Yeah, I'm sure that whenever Deborah, because it's always Deborah, that whenever Deborah said that to you at work, uh, that yeah, that had to be hard to hear. That sounds like that was a really stressful day, and that's it. It doesn't have to be a whole lot more than that. Just knowing that you are alongside them and you are still their partner, and they still have you as their teammate, um, and you can just come alongside and say, "Yeah, we got this, and I've got this with you, and I'm here with you." Oftentimes, that's all that's really, really needed. And instead, we often go, "Yeah, that Deborah. If you really went in and you wanted to fix this, if you wanted to take care of this, and show Deborah who's boss, then I, I mean, Deborah's just always like that.
That
But we
Deborah.
we try to like come in and give our 2 cents and give strategies, and okay, here's what you're gonna do, and we try to like write out a whole script or something. But that's not what our wife needs in that moment. Just being there alongside them, like, man, that goes a long way when they just want to know they're not alone.
Yeah, definitely. And you might not. And here's a shocker for you. You might not know what you're doing. You might not understand her problem. You might not understand even how you got where you're at. But just being there is really what she needs. Unless she's telling you, "Put me out, I'm on fire." You need to be there, listen, and try not to think about something else like sports or anything else that she's not talking about. Don't like phase out. But you need to be there for her. Ask her how you can support her. Ask for her input on how, and that's the other thing. If you don't know for sure, there is no harm in saying, I don't know how to respond to this. Uh, what would you like me to do? And you gotta be careful with that, because if you always use that one, then they're gonna be like, you're never there, you're never so clueless, blah 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 blah. You know, but there's no harm. Like, they can't fault you if you truly are trying. If you're trying to be there and you're not trying to solve their problem in one quick motion, just the act of being there, letting them know you're there, will go a long way. Um, so yeah, I think that is about all the horse we can beat on that topic, I think.
But it's so fun.
It is. It is. It's kind of scary, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we all have our moments. Yeah.
yeah, what can we? I think we have a call to action this week for our listeners. All two of them. What's something we
Yeah.
can have them answer for us this week, Jimmy?
Yeah, we want to get all of you out there in our community, because I think it is maybe one or two more than two. But we've got some people out there. We've got to have some great conversations with. But we want to open up some dialogue with you guys, and this is that opportunity of the iron sharpening iron, where we can have some contact with each other, and we can offer some pushback, or just helping just provide some of that sharpening opportunity. But we want to hear from any of you guys. What is an encounter that you've had with your wife recently or in the past, where it was something that came up that you came away just feeling really confused? I don't understand what she said. I don't understand what was going on. But you realize, you know what, I just need to be supportive in this situation anyway. We'd love to hear any of those encounters where something was going on. Maybe it didn't click for you right away, but you came away victorious in the end. Or, if some of you have some of those horror stories that you ended up learning from on the back end, you can bring those up too. But we just want you guys to know you're not in this alone. And it would help us know that we're not alone either if we get to hear from you guys. So we'd love to hear that. You can just go on to dadschoolpodcast.com. You can give us a comment on there, send us some feedback, or send us your thoughts, ideas, prayer requests, whatever you have. We'd love to connect with you on there. You can find us on Facebook as well.
Yeah, and definitely share us around with your friends and family. We're there for all dads, and if there's a wife out there that needs to hear encouragement from a guy's point of view, we're here for you too. But don't feel afraid to send us to all the dads as well. So, thanks for joining us today on Dad Schooled Podcast. You can follow us, like Jimmy said, on dadschoolpodcast.com. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook now. We have a brand new Facebook page we're trying to populate with the masses. We're on X. Love to keep the conversation going and keep on chatting. So if you have other things you want to bring up, feel free to drop them there. Next week, what are we talking about next week, Jimmy?
Next week, or the next time we get to see you.
Oh yeah,
like
right
you're
there.
Going to be on the road next week. Things I never thought that I would end up saying as a dad, but here we are.
That's gonna be good. You're not gonna miss that one, are you?
No.
Or if you do miss it, you can
never been there. That's never been me.
Yeah. No, never. Yeah. If you do miss it, you can definitely check us out on YouTube and look for our videos. But until then, keep leading your family with purpose, even if you're just figuring out as you go, like we are.
That's right. See you next time.
Take care.